Steve Basic Architect, live from the hole in the ground, bringing the build show to you live. Yes, our ICF walls are up, braced, and concrete is placed inside of them. Yeah, we have about 9'4" of wall and an additional foot in footing. So we're about 10'4" to the top of wall from grade there. You can see our footings are in for the intermediate columns, but what I wanted to talk to you about today is actually over here. So I have a nice big window here, looks out to the river, but that there is a doorway, and you can see that the door is a good 20 inches above grade here. And the reason for that is we are going to backfill this hole with an insulating backfill product called GLAVEL. So it carries about an R1 per inch. We're going to put about 18 to 20 inches of it, and then we're going to pour a 5-inch slab on top of that with a vapor retarder, of course, and we'll be able to bring this level up to the underside of that door. So the GLAVEL has been delivered on site. Let's give you a little pan here of what basement looks like. This is where we did those step footings down, but we got the GLAVEL here on site. Let's jump out of the hole. We'll go up there and get a first-hand look at what GLAVEL actually looks like. All right, so climbed out of the hole, come over here, and there it is. It's all the GLAVEL that we're going to be putting in. This is the backfill, sub-slab backfill. You can see right there, their trademark GLAVEL name. It's a foam glass gravel. You got a little sticker here where you can see each one of these bags is 1,500 pounds. They measure 40 by 40 by 70 inches. And yeah, they use these bags so you can see there's lifting hooks up on top. So basically you could just lift these with a lull, put them in place, and then just simply slice the bottom of the bag and drain them wherever you need that GLAVEL to be placed. So let's go over here. There's a half bag. Busted it open a little earlier. Take a look and get to see exactly what GLAVEL looks like. So let's move that out of the way. So it actually looks more like a whole bunch of charcoal. Right? You can see these pieces, they probably measure, put it in my hand there, they measure about 2 inches square or so, inch thick. I mean, there's various sizes. There's smaller pieces, medium pieces, kind of bigger chunks, but it's a mixture. And you basically put that down as the backfill. You can see that it's got a relative coarseness to it, so moisture and water would be able to move through this material and get to the drains. But the beauty of it is that this stuff offers about R1 per inch, and we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna be putting about 18 to 20 inches of it in there. So we'll have that, R18, R20 plus R value under slab, and then basically put the vapor retarder on the top of this stuff, and then pour the concrete on top of that. But yeah, it's my first time using it. So like I said, pretty interesting material, foam glass. It is pretty tough. I mean, you can chip it apart, but you gotta really work at it. It's not quite a rock, but some pretty strong stuff. So anyways, you know what? Let's jump back to the studio today, and we'll pull up this detail, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. So I'll see you back at the studio. All right. So broke out the detail. Remember we were talking out there where the floor system was going, and then we looked at the GLAVEL. So you can see here, give you a little orientation. This is our concrete slab here. And you can see it's a considerable dimension or distance away from the footing. There's our footing. I had the traditional footing, but we have the bag form stuff out there. And you can see the ground cut will be something like that. So we'll get a little bit more down at the footing, and then we'll backfill it, or not backfill it, but fill it up. It'll rise up to the ground level that we had there. You can see here, this is our ICF forms there and there. And then this is that 2 5/8 of an inch EPS with our 6 6.5 inch core. So, and then of course the rebar here comes down and turns the corner, and then we have another one here, but that picks up. We have this vertical bar that rises out of there. So remember, we always call for about a 30-inch lap. And the 30-inch lap is to get these bars to act as one, that we need a considerable amount of distance to get the composite action of both bars. Also notice there's the longitudinal bars that are running through there, and then one there. There's another one up there. You can see this is the break in the block in the drawing. So we have those horizontal bars at the bottom, and then every 32 inches rising up through there. And of course, this is filled with concrete. So that gives you where we are as far as orientation. But what we're really talking about is what's happening inside here. So we have our perforated drain pipe here that'll go down through the system. And you can see here we have 16 inches of the GLAVEL product. So that's going to be, I don't know, roughly, I forget what it was, like 1.7 per inch. So what is that? I'm doing math off the top of my head. Let's just say that's probably about R25-ish. I don't know how close I am, but I think that's a pretty good guess. So, and then of course here it expands to 23 inches. So we're getting a little bit more, but we're picking up that drop surface that takes us down to the footing there. And then on the outside, for water management, we have a tough and dry system, so they'll apply a waterproofing to the outside, and we'll try and catch that for you. And then they put a protection board, which is basically a piece of oriented, I think it's fiberglass that it's made out of. But the reason for the orientation is that any water that gets into the system will fall because of the way the board is oriented. It'll leach out the bottom, and then you see we have a pipe out here that will catch and take care of the water on the outside, and then it'll go out to a stone pit, dry well, and perk away from the house. And yeah, concrete slab, 16 inches of GLAVEL. Saw that product there. Pretty impressive stuff. We got our footings out there. We got our ICFs. It's quite the assembly that we have happening here. One of the beauties of what we're doing here, the ICF, it's insulated, so we don't have to put insulation underneath here. We don't have to turn it up because it is part of the wall system. And the GLAVEL having a resistance of that R1.7 per inch allows us to backfill with that product and get some insulating value. And then we have a 5 3/4 inch slab. Now, a lot of these dimensions, you'd sit there and say, wow, 5 3/4, it's kind of an odd duck for a concrete slab. But the homeowner had a request that every stair stringer in the house, or stair riser in the house, was 7 inches. And he has good reason for that.
And so to do that meant that we set the first floor and built the assembly down, got to this point, and put in how much GLAVEL that we wanted. And then the result was we'd make up the difference, because this is really a pretty flexible dimension, given that our floor-to-floor height was not, because it was based on that metric of a 7-inch riser. So it has to deal with muscle memory and aging in place and that kind of thing. So, but the slab becomes the kind of flexible dimension, and so we ended up with 5 3/4. And he's going to have a workshop and stuff down there. So, you know, the added 1 3/4 from our typical 4-inch probably only helps the situation there. But anyways, Big Red came back out. He took a little time off when we were doing some site touring there and tours up in Canada, but he's back. That's our detail. 16 inches of GLAVEL coming at you. We'll be sure to get out there and try and capture some of that slab assembly for you and getting done, and then, you know, some of the waterproofing and all of that stuff getting done. So anyways, that's the detail. All right. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I sure did. First time we're using GLAVEL. Hopefully we catch them when they're installing it out there. Show you how that stuff gets installed. But until then, go check out the Build Show. We have a catalog of videos like no other. Go check it out. We got, I don't know, we're 8, 10. I don't even know how many contributors we have anymore. But we got a lot of them. And we're all posting stuff every week. And I think the thing that's really relevant there is the fact that these videos are stuff that we're doing today, yesterday, or possibly going to be planning for and doing tomorrow. So you're not getting any kind of archival stuff here. You're getting stuff that we're deciding on right here, present day. So making decisions just like you are out there. So hopefully some of this stuff helps. And yeah, go check it out. If you're looking for more from me, you can find me on Instagram, posting, got tons of material and content thrown up there every day. We just got a lot of great projects happening, a lot of great details, great people we're working with. So definitely go check that out. And then lastly, if you want to listen to Peter Yost, Jake Bruton, and myself, you can find us on the Unbuild It podcast. We have our videos of our podcast get recorded and get thrown up on YouTube. So go check them out. Till next time, I'm signing off. Steve Bazek, Architect.